Were you told you were shy? Do you identify as shy? Do you hate that word now? Do you just wish you could get over it and get on with your life? Welcome to Shining Beyond Shy, empowering you to create a greater life than you ever thought was possible. With your Shining Beyond Shy host, Fiona Cuts. Hi everybody, Fiona Cuts here, and welcome to this week's episode of Shining Beyond Shy, which is about receiving, and the title is, what are you willing to receive? And I was inspired to create or to choose this topic because of my experience over the last few weeks. So I've been traveling. First of all, I was in Dubai, then I was in Kuwait, and then I was in France. First of all, doing Global Foundation class, an Access Consciousness class with my friend in Orléans, which is about an hour and a half outside Paris. And then I spent a day yesterday in Paris in the beautiful spring sunshine. Oh my goodness, what a pleasure. And so over these 3 weeks, just realized, oh my goodness, I'm willing to receive so much more than I had been willing to receive. And what does that mean? So in the past, I thought that receiving, you're willing to receive more, you have more money, full stop. And receiving is about everything. So yes, it does likely mean that you will have more money, hooray. But it also means that you have this space in life where you go through life and you're not blocking things out. You go through life and whatever is occurring comes to you. If that makes sense. And so I noticed, so in Dubai and in Kuwait, I had these amazing hosts who basically connected with the people who came to my class and created the class and did all the stuff for me. So amazing women. And in both places, they gifted to me in their different ways beyond what I've been willing to receive before. And in Kuwait, this beautiful lady was, first of all, would you like to do the classes in my home? I have this beautiful space. And it was so light. Yes, please, I'd love to do the classes in your beautiful home. And then she was like, maybe you'd like to stay with me too. And so I don't always get that it creates the most for me to stay with the people who are creating the classes for me. Creating the classes for me, it's a co-creation, but I just use those words. And I don't always get that creates the most. And with this lady, it was like, wow, yes. I came to her house and there was so much to receive from. It's like all the time, it's like, what would you like for your breakfast? What would you like now? What would you like now? What can I gift you for your body? Oh, it was a bit cold last night. Let me turn the air conditioning up or off or whatever it was. This. And it was like all the time I had to expand what I was willing to receive. And even in terms of the sessions I was giving, it's like me being British. I wanted to know when I arrived, hey, when am I doing my sessions? And it wasn't like that at all. I'd be sort of waking up in the morning and my friend would be saying, oh, you have your first person coming at 11 o'clock this morning. Then you have someone else coming now and someone else coming now and someone else coming now. It's just like, okay, receive, expand. And then she was like, and how would you like to receive the money for that? Would you like it in cash? Would you like it in PayPal? Can we pay by credit card? And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And there are some people who had several sessions with me. And it was very funny because in my head, I was literally going to, oh no, but you don't need more. And I was like, hey, if they want more than one session. And at a certain point, my host just said to me, look, people here, we don't get the chance to swap much. We don't get many foreign facilitators coming. People just want to make the most of you when you're here. It's like, oh, okay, barriers down, receive. Barriers down, receive. And then I was thinking about this in terms of our theme, of course, of being shy. As shy people, so if I think about my growing up story, the way that my dad was to me, the criticism, the continual criticism, put me in this space of always having my barriers up, always contracting. And that is the opposite of the space from which you can receive what life is gifting you. And it's that space of fear, really, where you fear that the next hit is coming. And so therefore you contract. And it's like you can contract from the experiences of life. So the experience of staying in my friend's house in Kuwait, and she lives with her mum, her mum who is very ill. And I got to receive the joy of running her mum's bars and actually laughing with her mum. We couldn't speak English. Oh, sorry, we couldn't speak English. She couldn't speak English. I couldn't speak Arabic. And yet we had this place where we somehow found a way of laughing about stuff. And then also living with her was a Filipino maid, and there was sort of some tension going on. And it was like at times my barriers wanted to come out. So I know, barriers down, receive, receive. And it was a really fun time being there for that week. And in a very different way, when I went to France for Global Foundation, I got to stay in this old French house that my friend owns. And it's like, I love these old houses. I mean, I used to own a crazy, I mean, not that old, but, you know, certainly not modern house in Yorkshire. And I just loved it. It was quirky and crazy and drove me mad sometimes. And I just loved it. And I got the sense with her house as well. It's just like, it was totally willing to contribute to me. And I was staying right on the top floor with this sort of view over Old Orleans. And it was just, I just really, really loved it. And I just realized that in the past, I wouldn't have been willing or able to receive all of that. And again, in Paris yesterday, it's like, I love Paris. And in Paris, the buildings are very much a contribution to me. And I just realized yesterday, I couldn't stop taking photos, even photos just of the cafes and just everything. I just love it. And I just realized, oh, I'm willing to receive more of the gift that Paris is. And I've spent a lot of time in Paris over the years, willing to receive more of the gift that Paris is. And actually also willing to receive the yumminess and the joy that I have in speaking French. So I studied French at university, and for a long time, it was a real pleasure for me traveling to France, speaking French. And it's something that I didn't allow myself to really enjoy the last few times I've been in France. And I can't explain why. And somehow this time, particularly in Paris, I was suddenly able to speak French better. I mean, and I spent 4 or 5 days with my friends speaking French all the time. Suddenly when I got to Paris, where maybe the accent is more familiar, or I'm more familiar with Paris, or whatever it was, I just found myself my French just really increased, and my pleasure in speaking French just increased. And they're just these funny conversations. And it's like people will often hear your accent and reply to you in English. And I mean, mainly my French is better than their English. And it's like, I was just laughing, and I was like, hey, how do you know I'm English? Ça ne va pas. You shouldn't be able to do that kind of thing. And they were kind of laughing, because I think often when someone speaks French and they reply in English, they're used to the person kind of resisting, which is what I used to do. It's like, how dare you speak to me in English when I speak good French? And this time I had like just a space around it. And even had, I have to say short, I don't think they could be long conversations nowadays, but I had short conversations with people who actually thought I was French, which was very pleasing. And I'm willing to receive more of that. What would it take for those conversations to be longer and longer? Yeah, so here's the thing, and you can hear as I'm talking about it, there's a pleasure in receiving, and even in receiving the stuff that you may not want to receive. And it's like, I love France, and there are certain things that just I don't enjoy. So, and one of them occurred as soon as I arrived in Paris. I was staying very close to the airport, and I just got a taxi, got loads of bags, so just got a taxi, and I wasn't going very far. And this taxi driver just said to me, oh, what do you mean you're only going to Roissy? I've been lining up here for half an hour, and now I've got this rubbish fare with you. And he said it in this sort of typical French way. And I was like, okay, it's like the French can have that kind of way of being in the world sometimes. And I was like, okay, just receive it. And I just said to him, look, what else do you suggest I do? Is there another way that I can go? He said, no, I'll take you, don't worry. And he used this phrase, je suis obligé, I'm obligated to take you. Oh, thank you very much. And then in the car, I was just like, oh, space, space, space. And I just started asking him a couple of questions and he melted a bit. How does it get better than that? And then the same as I was leaving, I went to one of these crazy, tiny Ryanair type airports. And so I needed to get, again, I got a taxi to where the bus takes you to the airport. And I knew that I needed to be there early because I knew that it wasn't going to be obvious where the bus left from. So I asked one guy and he said, oh, c'est évident, it's over there. And he wasn't very clear at all. And I started to walk and then I needed to ask someone else. So I asked the guy who sells the train tickets and he was so offhand. And he's like, of course, it's over there. You know, that's in that way. Don't you know, you stupid English girl, it's over there. It's like, oh, thank you very much. That kind of, and it's not all the time, but that sort of attitude of the French. Okay. Barriers down, receive, receive, receive. And sometimes I've had the point of view, which is very funny, when a language isn't my own, that I can't, I don't know, that I need to be polite or something. And I just said this to this guy, oh, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was just like, you know, you don't have to be so offhand, thank you. Anyway, I was willing to receive those aspects of France that I think, particularly when I was younger and kind of had this sort of, I love France, I hate England thing going on, wasn't willing to receive the more tricky parts of France. And that's fine. How does it get better than this? So I'd love to give you a couple of questions that you can start to ask to start to amp up your receiving, if that's what you would like. So in the moment when you realize that you're not, well, that you could be receiving more, just ask, what am I unwilling to receive here? Everything that brings up, I destroy and uncreate it. And then the clearing statement, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you haven't heard that before, and I've just gone blah, 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 you can go to theclearingstatement.com to read about what this amazing thing is. And it's basically something that can help you to release the things from the past that are keeping you stuck. So in this case, it can help you to release what's in the way of you receiving more. How does it get better than that? So truth, what are you not willing to receive here? And another one, what are you unwilling to receive here that if you would receive it would change everything? Everything that brings up. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And what else? What else? Let's have this. What energy, space, consciousness, and choice can you be to receive what you're not supposed to receive with total ease? Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And don't worry if that question is a bit like, oh, what's she talking about? The question like that in access consciousness will not make sense to your logical mind. It's designed to go to the illogical, crazy stuff that we have going on. And so don't worry if you don't completely understand it. And if it feels fun for you, just start to ask it and stuff will start to shift and change. How does it get better than that? So thank you for listening. I so appreciate you. And can I ask you, if you like this podcast, please like it. Sounds funny. Please share it with people who you know could benefit from this. What if this could be out in the world way more? What if this could be getting to all the shy people who desire something different? That's my target with this, and I would love it if you could help me to get there. Okay, beautiful people, I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I'm so grateful for you. It would be great if you could subscribe. Great if you could leave a review wherever you're listening. And if you'd like some quick, simple tips to overcome shyness wherever you are, please go to my website, fionacuts.com, where you can download my free product, 5 Steps to Overcoming Shyness Wherever You Are. Thank you again, and see you next time.